Hey team, welcome to whatever week it is, maybe 20 or 21. This week we're continuing that journey on our light shading because it's very difficult, very frustrating, but something we do need to be able to do. So we're going to do a white jug. This is slightly more complicated in shape because there's not really any definite edges. There's a few, but really it's all about the gradients as well as trying to get the shape, trying to get a little bit of symmetry, and trying to get a handle on it. Anyway, grab your pencils and let's get started with this week's lesson. Okay, folks, so grab your usual 2B pencil. This is going to start off our outline. Now, the jug isn't symmetrical, so this is our first challenge, trying to get it to sit in the right way. Now, I would maybe draw a rectangle around this, or I would just try and look at negative spaces, so looking at the spaces around the jug, and just see if that's going to help you with your outline of the shape. Now, once you've done that, we're going to head straight into the shading. So it's always best to start with the darkest part that you can see and something with a bigger space. So I'm just starting in the left corner where the spout is. And I want to go in a few different directions. So this is going to help to make the shading smooth, and I'm almost starting to add a bit of a gradient on here as well. You can see it gets lighter as it moves round to the right. This is kind of a key element in any 3D curved edges. So we're going to look at the handle as well, and you'll see that there's maybe a sharper curve. It's not as round as the actual area, and there's a little bit darker in some spaces, so try and push that a little bit darker if you can too. Don't just try and treat that as a block shade. You'll see that the shadow is underneath the part of the handle where your finger probably sits on, and underneath the bottom as well. So the light is being cast from the top. Once you've got that in place, just add that little entrance hole where sorry, where the milk goes in, and you want to be looking for the light part that just shows where the difference is. Now it's so light that there's not really an outline at all, so don't push too hard, but I know the temptation is to go full whack and shove a load of darkness in there. So we've got some of the shading on and it looks okay, but what happens when we add a dark background? So the dark background is going to change how our shading looks, especially when our drawing is surrounded by white. What does it do when it's surrounded by black instead? So grab your 8B pencil and push this in around the jug. Now the background is so boring. I get so bored doing it, so I do tend to rush it. But then I'm left with this super grainy sort of texture, and it does kind of ruin the picture. So I'd recommend to get a layer down, and just when you get a bit bored, do a corner, do a little section of it. Go back to it, but it is worth just trying to make it look better than it is. Or think about it another way. If you're having a shit day and don't want to think about anything, you don't want to have the stress of doing a drawing, just do the background because it's kind of mind numbing and you don't have to think about anything else. So it could be a good stress reliever, or in my case, it could be quite stressful. So, as always in these drawings, we then go over them in a 2H pencil. Now, the thing with the background, especially a dark one, it makes the work we've done look a lot lighter. So I want to find that balance and be quite careful on how much darker I push my white shading. So the 2H pencil can kind of help to bridge that gap a little bit. It's not pushing things too hard. And you just want to like build it up and just slowly add another layer. Keep looking at the reference picture, asking yourself, is it dark enough? Is it light enough? Have I gone soft enough? And hopefully you can also see the soft little changes in edges. So is it a hard edge? Is it a soft edge? And these are all the questions that I'm constantly asking myself when I'm drawing something like this. So trying to find that balance. So go over your drawing in your 2H pencil and really spend the time just to refine everything, and most likely you'll need to push your light shading a little bit darker because the surrounding area has well, it's shown us how light we've gone. White is such an illusion. So I'm hoping you experience that anyway. Otherwise, this means absolutely nothing to you. So the last thing to make this look realistic is to add a bit of a shadow. So make sure your 8B pencil is sharp. Go very, very thinly along the bottom and add a little glow that comes over to the left. So there we have it, a very light shaded 3D jug. And finally, if you like supporting local artists and you want to keep watching videos like that, then please support my Patreon page where you can pay as little as £3 a month to keep receiving content and more. Okay, folks, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that and enjoy the rest of your week.